let's go ahead and move into our review because I can tell you're really you love this one. I'm sure you did. I mean, when I saw it, the whole time I was thinking, who's gonna fucking love this one? Donna's gonna love this film. And
Me.
I was like, yep. And this is gonna be Gladiator 2.
It's a love story.
I remember that day. I never forgot it. But a slave.
Starring Paul Mescal, Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Connie Nielsen, Joseph Quinn, Fred Hitchinger, Peter Massah, and Steve has joined us, everybody. We're getting into our Gladiator 2 review, Steve. Matt Lucas, Derek Jokeby, Alexander Karim. And that was Gladiator 2, ladies and gentlemen. So I gotta say, I was surprised. I was actually surprised.
What surprised you?
I know.
What surprised me? Oh, let me start. Let me crack down on this here. Okay, because I think you guys are going to be surprised by what I thought. So I thought the whole movie was okay. Like, it was okay for a good moment. Okay, like, if we're okay, first of all, right off the bat, it was a story basically of the kindred youth, basically, who doesn't know he's special. Let us just get through this real quick. It's basically that story of a youth that doesn't know who he is, and basically he's the Prince of Rome, and basically he's Maximus's son, illegitimate son that we didn't know, and it's based off fanfare from the original. Yes, so anyway, there was a lot of fanfare that was paid in this movie. But basically, that's what happens, and of course, he conquers and takes over, and yada yada, blah 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 blah. You had some interesting.
Like Daddy did.
Well, kind of. And see, that's what was weird about this movie. So right off the bat,
the only difference is he didn't have an affair with his mom.
Hold on, let me finish here. Let me finish, okay? Right off the bat, though, like if you compare these two movies, it's night and day difference, because at least in the original, they had some real fucking tigers, even if they were green screened or whatever. The tigers were real.
They were real, though.
If you're gonna make a sequel, you got to kind of up the ante a little bit. You can't have CGI baboons coming in and attacking because the whole time I was watching, I was like, man, I this is crazy, because I know he's not an actual any danger.
The baboon part. How did they keep water? How do they keep water in the Coliseum?
Okay, that part's real, and that's what you're mad about.
Women in the Coliseum.
That's like the only part that is actually real.
Yeah, that actually did.
That actually did happen. Now the shark part.
I'm like, how?
The shark part, as much as I want that to be real, that didn't happen. That wasn't real.
Actually, that is real, because that was a cameo by the real sharks. If you guys missed it,
right? But that was our input for this movie, because it was done on all cylinders. Yeah. It really was trying to get you to like it, and for the most part, man, it followed the original pretty good. Like, and I mean that as in plot pace, not as in like anything to do with like interesting. Like, even the two emperors, the bad emperors, I really didn't hate them.
The brothers?
The performance of the brothers was nothing like Joaquin Phoenix.
No, like, and it's good. I'm kind of glad.
And Joaquin Phoenix, that performance, you could never, ever, ever do. Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator, the first one, is probably one of the greatest performances.
He's the best character in that film, though.
Yes. He is. He is amazing in that movie. But the two brothers, I didn't really see anything unique or hateful that I didn't like about them.
They were just you didn't hate him, but they didn't like him either. But that was the point. They were just there.
They were just there. And I'm gonna get more. The Pedro Pascal's character was interesting too. It worked, and I'm wrapping it all up to a whole point. My audience is Pedro Pascal's part worked because he's kind of Spanish. He's Spanish, Spanish looking, and basically his whole premise, although, it seemed like he wasn't even in the movie for the first half of it because he was only doing scenes with the mom. And it was kind of funny because I was like, did they like film 2 movies here? And they're like, well, just put them together, because it seemed like that in the beginning.
Felt like that.
So, Pedro Pascal's character worked. Now, Denzel Washington's character worked too. I heard a lot of things about his character, and I'm going to get to probably the part everyone is wondering if I like it or not. So I thought his character was interesting because he was supposed to be basically the gladiators, the master, but also too the culture in which they wrote for this one really inverted from actual, the first one. Like, they make it seem like being a gladiator, like, fight until you get to your freedom. It's like, it wasn't always guaranteed that they would get their freedom. There was so much honor, and it's like, you were a fucking slave.
It's like why would they? That was where they missed. I think that's
they
where I was a little
slavery like a badass thing. Like, yeah, you can be a fucking slave and fight and win your freedom.
It's like,
but Denzel
I don't
Washington.
know. I think I'd rather be a gladiator and take my chances on the ring and die than be a slave.
Okay, well, that's you. So anyway,
give Donna a sword.
But the whole Denzel
Give me a shark.
At the end, especially for Denzel, that's where it fell apart for the whole movie. The whole movie fell apart when he did all that, because it happened in less than 15 minutes. It
was such a
moves that he did.
It's happening. Yeah, it's like it's happening.
And we talked about this on another session where it was meant to be like a Trump kind of, he's exactly like Trump in the corruption aspect of it. And guess what? I didn't get that at all.
No,
I didn't get that.
See, that's another one of these representations in films where people it's a super miss, because I was like, no, he just was like a crazy guy.
And here's where I'm wrapping it all back, guys, because I'm wrapping it all back to Lucius here. And you're wondering, wow, you guys didn't even mention the main character, because Paul Mescal in this, no offense to him, but I don't know if he was either really stoned or if he was just miles away, but he looked like a fucking maniac. Even during subtle parts, he was like,
the close-ups of him
and what was so bad about it is he's supposed to be the main character in this, and you didn't even fucking notice his performance. It was such a shallow kind of character, them writing this fanfare. And I even got in an argument about somebody else saying that, he was Maximus' son. I was like, no, he wasn't. There was never any indication in the original Gladiator that she was boning Maximus. There was nothing about that.
Yeah, there was nothing. They just assumed, and so did he.
They just assumed, and then that's the whole point. And then he was just like, yeah, on the side, this is what happened. I'm like, well,
here's my fucking ring.
I know.
Yeah. Well, man. He was probably like, you know what? They need a hero. I'll live up to that hero. I mean,
and that was so dumb. His mom was like, I got to send you away, and I promise I will come get you while I'm staying right here.
I know. Right. I'll promise.
His mom deserved that arrow, by the way.
Right, Donna.
But it came out of nowhere. As I was watching this, he was like, oh, he's a prince. I was like, what? He hit his head like fucking Goku or something? He's like, I don't remember if I was a Saiyan.
And I don't care either that I'm a prince.
Yeah.
It was bad. That part of the movie was god awful. It was awful.
I don't know.
Oh, you liked it, Donna?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean,
just until the end. That's what I'm getting at. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad until the end.
Yeah. And then everyone was like, my husband was like, I can't believe Denzel was playing a bad guy. I said, I can name 1 or 2 movies he plays a bad guy. But all these people around him were playing checkers, and this motherfucker was playing chess. He knew what he wanted, what he had to do to get the seat he wanted. But he wasn't accepted. He didn't expect him to take the gladiator. I did like it. The gladiator part and fight back. He was hoping he would have an easy seat. Hey, I have a man that absolutely hates his fucking family. Maybe I can take over and be king in this area. It won't take long to do. But it didn't work out in his favor.
Right. Here's what I think. I think if you put the movies, both of them side by side, first of all, too, I'll give the movie some excellent cinematography. It really tried to look like the original.
Yeah,
it tried to look like the original.
There was a lot of points, Rob. I agree, where they were
also,
like, when they were in this Coliseum.
You could tell they recycled that fucking Coliseum set from the original.
God.
And they said it was another town. And I was like, dude, that's what Rome is the only fucking city that looks like that in Italy. They're like, keep everybody in like a fucking hovel kind of society. It's like, no, they looked like Rome too.
They did. I know, bro. I saw that and I was like, what the fuck? Come on. I know you're trying to make the movie, but this is hilarious, man.
You just reuse the fucking set.
Reuse it. Do it again. Just do the fucking
They just never tore it down. Hold on, there'll be another movie. Reuse that set too.
I will say this, and I think I'm pretty sure we've ranked it pretty high before. Yeah. I give Gladiator like a good. I want to say, did we give it a 9, Steve, or an 8.5?
No, both of us gave it a 9.
We gave it a 9. I'd give that a 9, the original Gladiator.
Yeah, that's.
And I would give this one a solid 6.
You know what, dude? That is so apropos, and I'm gonna go with a 6 as well. And it's gonna make a lot of people mad.
6.
So what? It was a 6. I'm sorry.
It was a 6. It was just a 2.
To see one time.
It was a 2, bro. It was It was a 2. It was like, oh man, you know what it reminded me of, Steve? Exactly what I said. Spartacus 2. Son of Spartacus. It was just like that. It's like, okay, cool. I've seen it one time. I'll never watch it again, though.
And it's like, I didn't listen. We are saying we didn't. All three of us, we did not hate this. I didn't hate it, but I'm also like, I don't need to see it again. Yeah, like once was enough. It was like, all right, they did the sequel where it's like more of the first film, and they wanted to go better. Okay, well, I get it, man. Like, Donna made some great points with the Denzel Washington character, and you made great points with the cinematography. And I'm like, there is good, but there's also kind of like, okay, this is like, what's going on at this point? Awkward close-ups, too much CGI at points.
Trying to make the guys like Caligula, and Nero and stuff.
Like, we're in 2025. We should know by now how to make the movie look good.
Yeah, you would think.
You would think.
There are people that watch the movie and they're like, you know what? That close-up don't look too good. Let's cut it back a little bit.
What are you making fun of us? Are you trying to say that us are touching and tasting the cinematography for its deliciousness is wrong? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Sometimes.
Licking the
That's bad. And you know what? I don't want to ever hear that again. We are going to move on here. We'll leave it at exactly. That's exactly what I would give.